I'm Kate. Let's talk theater. Today we are going to be discussing some April theater news, doing a bit of a recap. It's going to be the top theater news according to me. And we're gonna jump in. I'm hoping my mic is of decent quality. I'm using kind of like the built-in in my Mac because my regular mic needs a dongle that I cannot find. So hopefully it's fine. These computers are a fortune, so it should be fine. So, top theater news of April recap. According to me, let's go. We are starting with the fact that Six the Musical, the pro shot that was filmed several years ago at this point, the UK has seen it, Australia has seen it. It is finally coming to the US in the theaters August 14th of this year. I should have just waited. I waited many, many years to see Six because the sound didn't thrill me and I didn't know how I felt about it. I'm not even close to New York, so I was like, it's going to be a whole thing to try to go for only an 80-minute show. I don't know. I started watching The Tudors and everybody told me, oh, well, you have to see it in London. So I did. And it was one of my most expensive tickets, which is cringe. And I was not a fan. I love All You Want to Do. And that's it. I think about 2 minutes in, I thought, I can't believe I have to be here for 80 minutes. I've made a mistake. I've made a huge mistake. It's just not for me. The sound is just not for me. And when it's literally just a concert musical and you're not super into the music and that's just really all you have, no. I also think thematically what is going on there, but that's its own video. All that to say, I should have just waited for the pro shot to come out. I remember seeing a random show and being at the train station in New Jersey. And, playbill in hand, and then these ladies, like middle-aged ladies, own playbills in their hands. Not Six musical playbills, something else. Maybe the Music Man. They were bougie. And they look at us, and they ask us how our show was, and then they go, oh, don't see Six. Like, we were not talking about Six, and they just had to tell us the news. I should have taken them more seriously. Ladies, if you're out there, I'm sorry I didn't listen. But if you have been putting off seeing Six, or if you really love Six, maybe you're a big fan of the music and it works for you a little bit more, there you go. We're getting it in theaters August 14th. The Last 5 Years announced that they were putting out a cast album specifically of the recording from the London concert. They then came to New York and LA. I was super excited for this. I think this came out basically just after I saw it at Radio City. I just think they were incredible. I know the casting was a bit controversial, especially for Ben Platt. I thought they were amazing. I'm glad to have this version immortalized. I think he played it very differently than I had only previously seen the Jeremy Jordan in the movie, and then Nick Jonas on Broadway. If you guys want to hear my thoughts on the Last 5 Years Broadway revival, I have an incredibly long video about it. We're not going to get into it. All that to say is it was really cool to have this immortalized, especially because there were very few opportunities to see the show. Tom Felton announced that he's going to be extending his time in the Cursed Child Harry Potter play that was shortened again recently through November. I don't care about Harry Potter. I never really, I read the books, but I was never a Harry Potter person. I don't think I've even seen all the movies. I've not seen the play. I just want to point out that it's cringe to continue to aid J.K. Rowling in making money. You're an actor, go act in something else. I know not everybody can say that, and it's unfortunate that actors are being put in the position to make that choice, and not everybody can turn down a paycheck, but you're Tom Felton. I have the same thoughts about the HBO Max thing. There are a lot of actors where I get it. You are not in the situation to turn down a paycheck. And I understand that is serious stuff. People need health insurance. People need to pay their bills. But there are also so many people who absolutely don't need the paycheck because they are famous. They can get work elsewhere, and yet they're doing it anyway. And that's crap. That's absolute crap. Okay, Zachary Noah Pizer and Hannah Kevitt, don't know either of these people, so I'm sorry if I'm saying their names wrong, but they are going to be the next leads in Maybe Happy Ending. There was definitely good news for a lot of people who were very concerned about the casting, given that Our last Darren Criss replacement was Andrew Barth Feldman. Talked about that in another video, but the TLDR is that he is white. And the show very much said, hey, this is an Asian show. It's in South Korea. We want to respect that. And then they turned around and didn't. So it was a lot of controversy that the show survived, which I think is another conversation for another day. Now, the caveat here is the standby being a woman of color, yes, but a Black woman. Obviously, we have backlash going on. I'm seeing people talk about that it's like, should we be grouping all people of color into one group? I'm obviously not a part of that group. But what is interesting is what I'm seeing is that comments talking about like, hey, this is supposed to be a show set in Korea. You're supposed to be, you originally said that you were going to be hiring Asian actors. You then hired Andrew Barth Feldman. That had backlash, but the show's still going. So the backlash wasn't strong enough, clearly, which I feel like is often what happens. It is a loud but niche community, unfortunately, right? Like, these things should get bigger, but I think it's hard for these things to get bigger. Theater's already a niche community, let alone people that are tuned in enough to worry about this stuff. Will there be backlash? People definitely have questions. It is definitely disappointing to see a show themselves, and I talked about this in another video, go from, we are creating a space for Asian roles because they don't really exist, to, we never said that was quite what we're doing. It's not a big deal. Anybody can be in this. So I think maybe you are at least responsible to continue the conversation. I don't know. That's what's happening there. Anyway, next, Pink is going to be hosting the Tony Awards. That in and of itself has been interesting because she's not a part of that world, but we know that she's a fan. And I think that that's just really cool. I think that's really interesting. You see it in other award shows. A lot of the time, comedians who are like not movie stars are hosting the Oscars, right? So I do think there's a place for it. I would be really curious to see how that works because there aren't going to be expectations the way that there would be expectations on an existing Broadway performer. So I think it's cool. Some people kind of got up in arms about it as if they were on the list to host, but it's just like a random person on TikTok. I think that this is cool. I think it's kind of neat to celebrate Broadway fans. She's a famous Broadway fan, and I think that's cool. And probably she's going to end up on Broadway this fall or this spring, and maybe that's why. The Tony Awards are an incredible thing. They create a lot of accessibility for us to see performers and performances. Obviously, we want to appreciate our Broadway people, but it's also a big commercial. So we should be expecting something to happen with Pink's career. West End casting that involves a Broadway girly. Jamie Moscato and Joy Woods are going to be in Cabaret this summer. I'm honestly kind of crying because I already went to London in December to see Cabaret because I wanted to see Eva Noblezada and Reeve Carney. So how many times can I do this? Traveling this summer doesn't feel great. Doesn't feel great. It's only this summer and it's peak travel time. There is not one performance outside of peak, expensive tourist travel time. Genuinely performing from Memorial Day to Labor Day. So will I get to see this? I don't know. I would love to. I love Joy Woods. She's my most viewed, seen, experienced performer. So I would love to see her in this. I would absolutely love to see her in this, but I don't think it's reasonable. No amount of credit card points in the world might make that a reasonable trip. But I wish. Moulin Rouge extended its run. It was originally supposed to end in July. It will now be ending in August. Likely Megan Thee Stallion money coming in hot. I think that that's really cool. There was some speculation of a pro shot. Pro shots are really expensive, and it's a show that has forever royalties. So it's just probably not feasible, unfortunately. The only pro show I can think of off the top of my head that is a jukebox musical is Girl from the North Country, which is Bob Dylan music, and he was involved in the musical. So, in terms of okaying royalties and all that, like, he was involved. It's not just 5,000 people that they're paying every single day because 1 million people wrote every single song in that musical. So, I don't think it'll ever happen. But this is cool. This is exciting. I am interested to kind of see what comes in next and if, like, are they genuinely struggling? Are they kind of being pushed out? For me, I feel like John Cardoza kind of peaked Christian for me, and I struggled to ever see it again. And I saw it 11 times. Hi, sorry. But I was done. And maybe me being done, the universe said, well, if this freak who saw it 11 times is done, then, like, we gotta pack it up. We gotta go. It's over. One Night Only Rent concert is coming to Broadway, with some of the original, with the original director and the original band. It's all we kind of know so far. I'm intrigued. It's an anniversary moment. Let's see here. Yeah, we don't really have anything else going on. I can't imagine what those tickets are going to cost, by the way. But that's really interesting. I'm curious if, because it's the original director, it's just going to kind of be the same, like, kind of a replica, or if the original director is still going to have, like, a fresh take on it. I'm also curious if this is going to essentially, like, try to launch a Broadway run, because it is on Broadway, and are they trying to, like, launch a run? I have, like, weird feelings about Rent. I just recently saw an Arden production, which is a regional theater in Philadelphia. This summer, the Bucks County Playhouse, which is a regional theater outside in, like, the Philly suburbs, they're going to be doing a production of Rent. Rent is an interesting musical that's, like, very frozen in time, was technically never really finished, and it definitely has its problems. I think it's interesting to watch people try to work with Rent now. Will we ever see a Rent that is changed significantly, rewritten? I don't know. I feel like it needs it. It definitely feels like a musical that is like, this is the musical that exists in the 90s, and we all kind of have a lens that's a little bit different from how we would view any other musical given the real life circumstances of Jonathan Larson. So I'm curious to learn more about this and when we are going to start to get some new information. But I guess it's the 30th anniversary, and so we will we'll see what happens. I definitely think you can take Rent and do more with it, but maybe not without some book changes. I don't know. Incredibly random news that I just think is hilarious. Casey Straw, who played, oh my god, what was her name? Casey Straw played who in High School Musical? What is her name? Hold on, I've completely lost my mind. Martha Cox. Hello. She's gonna play Mrs. Darbus in a UK High School Musical stage production. They are doing you can do anything in the UK, by the way. They can do anything they want at any time when it comes to theater. There are so many things that happen there that I just feel like we would never do because our theater is too expensive. We don't subsidize it enough. So nobody's taking risks like the UK and doing the first non-replica production of High School Musical. Hello? That's hilarious. I'm happy for them. That's wild. Do you add songs? It can't be that long. I want a High School Musical too. Act 1, Act 2, let's go. Whole calendar year. Hilarious. Incredible. The UK can do anything. Following the news of Moulin Rouge extending likely on Megan Thee Stallion money, it did incredible for them. She announced that she would be departing early. Two weeks early. People are obviously pissed, fighting to get refunds, which is, I think, very fair. We all know that their tickets got more expensive. because of Megan Thee Stallion. So I definitely think that that was fair to fight for those refunds, or at least like get partial money back. I don't know. I did not have those tickets. Like I said, I was done. This comes in the wake of this sort of cheating scandal coming out, us finding out kind of bits and pieces of what's going on with her personally. I think it's very unfortunate if that is the primary driving factor. Obviously, we don't really know if other things are going on. She's a celebrity. We don't know a lot. We're never going to know the full story. But I do think it's just definitely sad, and it just makes me think about men be ruining stuff. Men really be ruining stuff sometimes. At least for Megan here, again, as far as we know. I don't know. I feel like obviously we can only push ourselves so far, but this is just a reminder for me to you to try to never give up on your dreams for anyone else. Don't let a significant other, an ex, ruin your dreams. Like, you are missing out on weeks of performing and doing this incredible thing because of some jerk. Obviously, again, it's not that simple, but if you have it in you to say, F it, I'm not letting this take me down, I'm going to do this in spite of all that, like, do it. Again, like, you ultimately have to make the call of, like, how do I push myself? When do I give myself grace and all of that? But, you know, try not to let anyone dull your shine if you can. It's very unfortunate. And I think the timing is very unfortunate. She couldn't, like, take a break necessarily. Again, we don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. And yeah, a lot of people were very unhappy, which again is fair. Shows rely on casting. You gotta then deal with the consequences of that. West End's Vida, starring Rachel Zegler, is coming to Broadway this spring. I'm very excited for this. This was a musical where I was sort of like, should I go, should I not? But just like the timing, and I don't like Andrew Lloyd Webber, and I didn't really like Sunset Boulevard, and I don't really understand the running around concert staging, no sets. I don't even need a big set, but like, I realized I don't know what Evita's about when I started seeing clips from that. So I'm excited to like properly see it. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the balcony, because it has been announced that they would not be doing that. In the US, it is too dangerous. They have made that clear. So that's going to be really interesting to see how they can kind of still be innovative while still doing something different, which I also think will be cool because, I don't know, to me, the Sunset Boulevard walk and then the thing outside, and we're projecting everything onto a screen, and we're doing this really budget-friendly staging. It's a fine line between like, this is Jamie Lloyd's thing and this is a one-trick pony kind of a deal. So I'll be interested to see, like, kind of like forced to innovate a little bit differently over here for horrendous reasons, but it's happening nonetheless. Rent, more Rent news. It's going to be returning to the West End to celebrate their 30th anniversary over there. Again, my question remains, what are we doing with Rent? Something needs to be done with Rent. It's been 30 years. Is there a creative that we trust? Maybe it's Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's everywhere always, but people really appreciated what he did with Tick, Tick, Boom. Are we at a time where we can do something with Rent? Is this a hot take? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. And finally, it was announced that Lincoln Center Theater's Ragtime will be launching a tour, which I just think is really cool because I never would have expected that. I'm still burned from Camelot failing atrociously. So I think it's really cool that Ragtime is going to be touring. I would be super curious to see that staging. I think it's a musical that should tour right now and is important. Obviously, lots of things tour, but this specifically being like a massive show in terms of casting and everything, the fact that they have the money to tour, I think is also just a beautiful miracle. And we should sit with that for a moment because that's really cool. All in all, this is my theater news recap, but Broadway primarily, a little bit of West End, a little bit of internet drama. Again, I'll be curious to see how people feel about Pink. I think it's really cool that she's going to be hosting the Tonys and that she's sort of a Broadway fan, as it were, and kind of a representation of that. Maybe happy ending casting. I feel like maybe happy ending not being as new anymore. People maybe just don't care as much. Maybe it's less of a problem. Maybe that part of the community is very small. Again, I'm not part of this community. I'm telling you what I'm seeing other people talk about. Is it, is that going to bite them at some point, or is it going to essentially just be accepted for what it is? We will see. It's definitely disheartening. Again, they set a precedent and they broke it, and so that's always going to be on them. At the end of the day, don't set expectations that you don't actually care to keep. And will I get to the West End to see Joy Woods? Doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel likely given the state of the world and the cost of everything. But I would love to do that. Again, are there enough credit card points in the world to make that feel like it's a good idea? We'll see. We'll see. Love her. We'll see. All in all, thank you for chatting with me today about some April theater news. There's obviously plenty of news that I missed. Let me know below if there's anything going on that you are sort of anticipating that has come out recently. Any news you want to share with us. Like, subscribe, share, do the YouTube things. Help me out as I get back into this and get back on here. I'm excited to jump back in because I have so much to say. But life has been a burnout city. So I want to use this as a space to fight the burnout and not feel burnt out by it. So chat with me in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for giving me some of your time today. And I will be back to talk more theater. Bye!